All the way live. Y'all know I'm gonna break out with them songs. Them,
I
them, sec,
appreciate
them
the
secular songs,
entertainment.
As we cut in.
right?
Yes.
I'm back. Guess who's back?
What's up?
Ah.
Welcome back. See, that's another song.
Welcome
Back.
back.
There it is. That's right.
Dream blew your ticket.
So we are live. We are
Oh,
live.
okay. We got cut up live.
We're live. And
Sorry.
we're as live as we can be, as you can see. And we are excited to have everyone here. I'm just checking across platforms to make sure it's reached out. Okay, looks like we're live on all of the platforms. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited that you are here with us. I wonder if Bilal understands he's supposed to be in the room. He's in the chat. Bilal.
Zoom, sir.
Bilal. Bilal. Just Bilal. Just come on into the Zoom room. We'll give you a second as people are coming and joining in various rooms across various platforms. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us in this part two of 36 questions that lead to love. All right, I got some folks joining in and out. Almost there. Click share and tag someone to join us. Hope you will click share and tag someone to join us. Might be listening to me on another device. Okay, there you go. There you go. Of 36 questions that lead to love. All right. Okay. So somebody's listening on two devices, please. Almost there. Click share and tag. You got to turn the volume down. There you go. All right. All right. And I am excited again that everyone is here. We're expecting, I think, one more, but we are certainly going to get started with part two, which is a wonderful, wonderful, I think we're going to have a great time. And so I shared last time about these questions, 36 questions that lead to love. We're going to find out if they do, or at least lead to an open door to explore the idea of love, right? And so two youngsters over 40 years ago, I said over 30, but over 40 years ago, ventured out into meeting each other as strangers, ended up falling in love and getting married. And they synthesized the discussion and questions and came up with these 36 questions that lead to love. And they did this wide scale research with other colleagues and early students in psychology and tested it. And it went viral many years later. And so here we are today testing it. We are testing to see whether the test works. And what a journey it has been to get all of these handsome and beautiful faces you see in the room just to participate. I'm going to write a little journal just about that part of getting people to be on board to participate. But seriously, it has been an interesting journey. I think even though people meet strangers all the time, I think creating a situation where you're going to meet strangers and have this intimate time can cause a little bit of concern for some. And for others, I think it was a great time. So everybody in the room, I think, has had the opportunity, though some people spent longer in their times than they should have. Everybody in the room had an opportunity to speak with everybody else in the room. Gerald, can you put your screen on, your camera on? I want to use this as a thumbnail, sir, so you got to put your face in. Gerald. Okay, so before we get into the questions, I just want to verify for the audience, and I hope that you all have clicked share on your individual pages for people to join us in this discussion. But because part one is doing well, people are watching it and sharing it still. And so I want to build on that momentum. So I hope that you will take a moment right now and click share and tag someone on your device. Do that right now, everybody in the room and everybody in whatever room you are in, click share and tag someone to join us in that discussion. Oh, there are folks there. Okay, fantastic. And if you drop your name in the comments, I'll be able to highlight you on whichever platform you're on, like Rhonda Reynolds Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so everybody in this room, with the exception of the host, right, had the opportunity to speak to everybody the opposite sex, correct? Raise your hand. I just want to take a room check. Okay. Jay Gerald, we would want you to raise your hand, but your screen is off. So, you know, if you don't want me to pick at you all the show, get on the screen. All right. All right. And so everybody, is there anybody here that knew the person that you had your one-on-one with before you went in the one-on-one, knew them, I would say, well, or knew them, had a face-to-face discussion with them? Anybody knew anybody in the room and had a face-to-face discussion with them in recent time to say, I knew that person before I got in the room? Anybody? Okay, I see some heads shaking, some heads standing still, some people just looking around. Okay, making sure everybody, okay. I'm just checking. And so I want to talk now about the questions, because I want all of our viewers to print these questions out or put them on your phone. And I want you to try it out. And so I've got some sections that I have questions about that I'd like for you to answer it, how those went. And then I want you to talk to me or talk to us, the viewers, in general, about what was your experience like. And so the ground rule, right, is that this was not, as some may have suspected or guessed, my trial at playing Cupid. I play Cupid very well. I'm 15 for 15. And so, but I don't play Cupid for a living. Now, I might have to work out some, hang a shingle, but this was to test the test. I didn't say, for instance, Christina and Bilal is going to make a bomb couple, or Valencia and Jay Gerald, Tasha and Darren. That never crossed my mind. I said, who are staples in the Love and Stuff and who have shown their support to Love and Stuff, and who can I count on to participate in an experiment where their feelings will not be hurt? I learned some stuff about me and some stuff about those people, because we started out with more people. So I learned that maybe I can work better at making those kind of choices a little bit. But I applaud you all for being so open-spirited and open-minded to participate in what could have felt like matchmaking. It wasn't. And if it does become a match, no one is going to walk away feeling like you're short-sighted, because a match that's going to happen is because the two people connect and explore it, right? And as adults, that's how it happens. You might meet two strangers that you like, and at some point you're going to whittle it down to one. If you're Christina, you might meet 6 men that you like, and you're going to have to whittle it down to one, hopefully, right, Christina? If you're Valencia and you're in the Love and Stuff, you might have 5 men that want, but at some point you might have to whittle it down to one. You see what I'm saying? Somebody might say, Darren, marry me and fly and move to New York, but he's got to decide New York or Georgia or Florida, right? At some point down the journey, in whatever capacity, you're always going to have to pursue one, right? Hopefully you're not going to pursue 3 and not tell the 3 about them. That's another show. But if there is the opportunity to be open and you learn something about yourself or somebody else, I think it's a successful thing if it's opened you up. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen because I want to ask a few questions and hear your thoughts on a few of them. And then I want to open it up for you to talk about your journey with each person. And I really hope that everybody will talk about their journey with everybody and feel comfortable that, you know, if you didn't connect, that's okay. And if you did, that's okay. You know, and if you connected with more than one person, that's okay. Right. And I hope everybody feels that way. So you won't be like, wait a minute, I thought you was feeling me. I was feeling you and this person, but let's explore. Right. And I think everybody is. I trust that everybody is open to that, right? You look open to it. You should see your eyes. Maybe you can see them. You look open to it. All right. So let me share the screen. Having said that, as I guess the sort of ground rules for tonight, for these questions, which I think everybody has commented on them. They really sequentially, they kind of open you up to be able to answer questions. and open yourself up rather. Leroy Hurd has joined us. Thank you so much. Doug Island, thank you so much. I hope you all will click share. And I hope in the room that you already did click share if you're navigating to devices, just to have more people join us and be engaged. I love all of the questions, but a couple of them jump out at me a little bit more than others. And I wanted to ask, how was the discussion in this set one of this question? If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or the body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? I'm just curious, how did that question and answer go? Anybody want to share there?
That was easy for me. It was body right off rip.
Okay.
But
And
what was funny is most of, if I'm not mistaken, all of the guys actually chose mind.
all of the guys chose mind.
Mhm.
Did other ladies choose body?
No, I chose mine.
So fellas, when Aria said body, how did that land on you? How did that land on you?
You know, it's funny, we talked about it, and you know, I said, like, for me, I don't want to be sitting in the corner drooling, you know, and I got this body that I can't do anything with. So I'd rather be able to use my mind and maybe have some semblance of a good life. So, and then just thinking about her, you know, her response, and I'm trying to remember, was pretty much, you know, she wants to be able to still be able to do things and get around and enjoy life, you know. So, you know, take some medication for what you know, you may be lacking somewhere. So, I mean,
if I forgot, it might not have been too important. So let's at least let me, if my mind go, at least let my body be able to fix it.
Okay. You want to be Doris Day until the day Jesus calls you. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
And you know what? And that gave me a spin on my answer to say, okay, yeah, maybe so. You know, just made me think a little bit about what I said. So it was a good exchange.
Okay. And I want to hear from Jay Gerald or Darren. How did Aria's answer land on you?
Aria's answer was a trip to me, and my first thought was, okay, Commodore is going on over there, brick house.
That was your first thought. Was there a second? I just want
that was it. I can imagine what she's working with. If that's what she at, that's what she's working with. But Christina's answer was the most interesting to me.
Okay.
Christina's, can I comment on that at this point?
Sure.
Christina said 50-50. She won't have her body working. She won't have her mind working too. That was interesting to me.
Okay. All right. And Jay Gerald, when you heard Aria say, did you think brick house? What did you think when she said that body?
I just thought about, you want to work with that body.
Okay. Okay. All right. Did that open you up any more to be more intrigued about Aria with that response? Did that open you up, or did it close you up any?
No, neither one. Well, of course, the whole conversation was open, you know, period. So It didn't open or close it.
Got it. Okay.
I think it more continued it than anything else.
Got it. Cassandra Rice has joined us. Willie Rogers, thank you both for joining. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us in this discussion of part 2 with everybody who has participated with everybody so far in this 36 questions that lead to love. The other question in set 1 that I wanted to ask, among many questions, hear your discussion. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. So did you find out that you had a lot in common, not very much in common? Talk to me a little bit about your answers around the commonality you share. Everybody at once.
Well, music was a common thread for all of us. Laughter was a common thread for all of us. So we had a good time just laughing and talking and cracking up about these questions.
So laughter, music, what's your third?
I'm trying to remember, was it anything that we all had?
Or one of the ones that stood out to you?
I think the third was all different, actually.
And did any of those 3 stand out to you?
Well, I think one of them was that we were happy to be doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to share the 3 things that you and your other partners had in common?
I think faith showed up as a third in most people's discussion.
Okay.
That faith, but the humor showed up often, and music showed up
Okay.
often.
For you, Christina, was there any differences than what Aria and Valencia experienced, or Tasha, chime in?
Yes. With a lot of the fellas, we have daughters.
Okay.
And I think again we like to laugh. I think one thing was really good is that we could communicate well. Like the conversation was flowing really good. Not and very easy to talk to. So
Okay.
those were kind of the 3.
Okay. And Tasha, what about you?
They named them all.
Okay. Fellas, did you want to add anything?
I would say family and open to love.
Okay. And open to love was one of the answers to that question. Is that why it took y'all so long in one of these rooms, Jared?
No.
Okay. I'm
No.
just checking.
It took who too long in a room? The proctor came in and shut it down.
Shut it down.
Leave the room now.
Shut it down. It's a fire in this room and I'm putting it out. Okay. Let's see. I want to move down on my, let's see. How do I do that? Let's see. Okay. Did I do that wrong? Now move. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to set 2. Because there were some questions we talked about in part 1, and we'll double back because I'm sure you're going to kind of expound on some of the things you shared now that you've met with everybody that were from set 1. But I wanted to move to set 2. I wanted to know what your responses were like around this question, or 2 questions. I think it's a 2-part. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? What was the conversation around that set of questions?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Pretty well. My answer was having kids and getting married. And I haven't had kids because I've never gotten married. And I've not gotten married because I don't know. Y'all tell me somebody's son gotta want me.
Okay.
Is that
Real
what Aria
talk.
said to you fellas?
What was that, Marcus?
Is that what Aria said to you in her response?
Yes.
Absolutely.
But not the last part.
Okay, I didn't think she did, but I wanted to hear it.
No, I said because
Too funny.
when he shows up, then hey, but until then, I can't tell you why. I ain't married.
Okay, all right. And so fellas, chime in, and some of the other ladies, how did the conversation around that go?
It went okay for me. Mine was, by me having so much medical history in my background, I should have been a nurse and now I just don't want to. But it was some of the men that I talked to, they said they need to finish their book. And I think it's just awesome that they got a half done, but just need to finish it.
And when you asked why haven't you done it, what did they say?
Well, one was just like me when it comes to a whole lot of stuff in my life, procrastination. And the other one was just because it's just not perfect yet.
Okay.
Which is understandable.
Okay. I was going to ask as a follow-up to that, Tasha, whether or not that raised a flag, but it sounds like no.
No, it didn't. I mean, it didn't. I understand when you want something to be put out perfectly when it's reflecting on you. You know what I'm saying? The procrastination part, since I procrastinate a whole lot dealing with myself, I can't throw no shade there.
Okay. Anybody else around that question? Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it?
I see, Marcus, after talking to the ladies, my answer was light. My answer was, I just need to be on tropical island someplace, and I just haven't done that. So so hearing these ladies with these deep answers, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Am I just not that deep? Because I just want to be on a vacation, and then we come into COVID, and I'm not gonna fly, so that just prolonged my time of being on a tropical island, because I had this milestone birthday. So, that was my thing. Like, hey, in 5 years, this is where I'm gonna be. But everybody else is talking about, like I'm here and writing books and this like that. I just want to be on an island and having somebody bring me some drinks. So
most of the guys I talked to said, I'm sorry, most of the guys I talked to were saying travel, and mine was travel. And whether it's COVID or not, mine is I just haven't been out the States in a really long time. But I heard a lot of the books and I heard a lot of travel. So I think everybody's deprived of a vacation.
Got it. And this was something that you considered yourself having dreamt of for a long time, travel.
And I think the word dream is kind of the issue. I think that when people think dreams are kind of hopes and wishes, as opposed to purposes that you haven't quite yet attained. I think that dreams can sometimes get us in that temporal thing, as opposed to, is there a purpose that you haven't fulfilled? And then you're looking at, some depth. So, Bilal, it was cool, that was just.
That's true. Because, my dream was just to be on the tropical island, and so it really, when I saw the word dream, I was like, yeah, that's what I've been dreaming of for a time. And I wasn't really focused on purpose, or how I have a life-changing event.
Understood. And I'm wondering, did that land on the women different than the man?
They were like, he is shallow.
Oh no, not
I'm
at
just
all.
wondering.
We did not.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Okay.
No.
Anybody else want to add to those sets of questions? Okay. The other one that some of you skipped the last time, I'm hoping you didn't skip it this time, even if you don't give us the details of it. What was the conversation like around what is your most terrible memory?
I answered it this time.
Okay. Do you feel cheated, Bilal, that she didn't answer it with you?
Well, again, Mr. Proctor, you was rushing us. So,
well, the truth of the matter is you all spent more time. See, I wasn't going to tell on you. I was only going to tell on Jay Gerald, but you all spent more time in the room than you were supposed to.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm done telling on y'all. So yeah, some people got stuck at questions and they didn't make it all the way to the end. But okay.
Well, I found out, I'm sorry for interrupting. I found out that last week I was still getting over the funeral that we was just coming out of. So it was still kind of touchy for me. And it was still somebody's death. That was my answer for the question.
Is there a consensus that answers were around death?
Yes.
Yes.
For most people?
Mine was a bad first date conversation.
Okay.
mine was about relationships. So
relationships.
It wasn't about death, but it was about relationships.
Got you. Anybody else that was non-death?
Yeah, mine was non-death.
Okay.
But it was a traumatic experience.
Okay. And what did you gauge the reaction of the person that you were sharing that with? What was the reaction of the person that you were sharing that with?
They was like, wow.
Okay.
It was, if it wasn't death, it was real close to it. So yeah. And each of the ladies that I spoke with, it was like, wow.
Yeah. And even with me, it was so funny. At one point, Bilal was like, "No, I'm just gonna pick that one for you."
Bilal said, "What now?"
He said, "I'm just gonna pick that one for you," because I was explaining to him why it was so horrible. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just pick that one for you. That's your terrible memory, don't we?"
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Okay. Also last week, another question that I asked that I want to ask this group as well. What roles do love and affection play in your life?
That was a good question. Yeah.
What was your answer, Bilal, this week?
Well, it's huge, because for men, we may not on the outside show our sensitive side, but we do crave love and affection. And so to be able to, well, first of all, let me just say, because I know that the call wasn't recorded in the room, I didn't have, you sitting in a seat watching us answer these questions. I was able to be a little forthright and more honest. And the ladies made me feel, a little safe, that they weren't going to run out with bulletin boards like, look at this dude.
So you didn't see that little hidden camera? You didn't see the hidden camera?
He was there. He was there,
I sweep my house. So no.
So you felt comfortable talking about love and affection with these ladies. And you're a pretty private person. So that sounds like a pretty move on the yardstick for you.
That was a move on the yardstick. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And do you regret being open about that? How do you feel about being open about love and affection with these ladies?
Oh, not at all, because you know what? It allowed me to grow, actually. To maybe, if I have to have that conversation, in the future, it's easier to have now. So this was like a practice run, mm-hmm. So that I'm able to be a little more open, mm-hmm. Without having to say, I'm still going to hold back because I don't know what your intentions are. And, until I run your background check, credit report, and all this other stuff. So no, it was very enlightening.
Okay. Anybody else? What roles do love and affection play in your life? How was that dialogue or interchange?
I'm going to say mine was more towards my children. Since they became teenagers, we've actually grown closer to each other. We've shown love, say I love you, show more affection. As far as like my daughter, we had a little spat today, a little argument, but at the end of the day, we loved each other. We gave each other a hug and a kiss. So I obviously love and affection is not really in my life right now with a spouse or a male. Mm-hmm. But as far as with my children, that's been the forefront currently. So that was, and I think a lot of people had some similar type that, that's important to them in any type of relationship. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the fellas said that they had some love and affection. So
okay. And how did that land on you, ladies, for the fellas like Bilal and the other fellas to say, I got love and affection? How did that land on you?
I gotta be me, brother.
Say that again like me.
Say it like you think you say it.
Yeah, how did I say it? How did I say it? There you go.
Say it to me like that. No one said it to me like that, but
nope. No one said it to you like that.
Only one I knew.
No.
Well, let me ask this.
Say it to me like that.
Okay, let me ask this. Christina, did you hear love and affection, or was that your embellishment?
I ain't gonna tell. I'm gonna just say that they said they had some love and affection that they like, that they do share. They do share when they're in a relationship.
Understood.
So they weren't really directing it to Christina. They were saying that they have it to give.
I understand you were the only one in the room at that time. So I gotta redirect the question again. How did it land on you though? Did you get love and affection like you said?
I felt that they were being honest.
Okay. Did it land on you like it was some warm and fuzzy that they were opening up to you in that way?
Maybe one or two could have. Yes.
Okay. And was that different for you, Aria, Valencia, and Tasha? Valencia saying, I didn't get it that way, but I
think that's about interpretation and the way the question was asked.
Correct.
So
thank you.
The question was asked matter-of-factly, how important is love and affection to your life? And the answer is very important. And it's something that I require if I'm going to be in a loving relationship. Then that's a very pragmatic answer, very practical answer. It wasn't asked in a way to be like, so hey, how's love and affection?
Right, correct. Right. So that's how Marcus wanted it to be asked. That's how it was asked.
No, I just heard how you. I was writing on. But
they were saying it.
Not mine. I wasn't in the room.
They had love and affection that they obviously, if they had a spouse, they had that within themselves to give. But at the end of the day, I was talking about kids. They were not.
Right.
I'm gonna move from that some got pragmatic answers and some got maybe a little more passionate answers.
So let me
whatever
say
the reason.
Let me say this. Because it said, how important is it in your life? And
it didn't say that.
Huh?
It didn't say that.
What do it say?
Well, I
what
read
roles do love and affection play in your life?
Right.
Maybe you heard in that important, and that's good. But you know, for the question, what it says is, what roles do they play in your life?
Right.
It didn't say what priorities or how important,
so,
but that might be how
what
you
I'm
heard.
saying is, because it said life, I'm on the life, and it didn't say relationship. My answer was about my family and about how important is it to have that affection and that in my life, and it's very important.
I understand.
So that's why I went to I didn't go to the relationship.
I understand, and you could have gone to the relationship, and that somebody who you might be learning more about might want to know what roles love and affection play in your life, you know, as to what you might want them to play in parts of your life, such as a relationship. So it could have been heard different ways. And I think I understand. We heard the question different ways.
I think I heard it wrong. Maybe it was me.
No,
I don't know if you heard it wrong.
Directions.
Don't back down from it. You just heard, you just got a different response. It's okay.
You didn't hear it wrong. I responded to it from both sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
I'm a super affectionate person. So I have friends who are like, girl, if you don't stop touching me, and I have to remind myself, oh, everybody don't want to be touched. I went from the aspect of how I am with my friends and how I would with a spouse or a mate.
Right.
So I think it wasn't that you heard it wrong. I think it was just that y'all talked about it, and that was the subject you brought up, and that was the subject they brought up, and that's
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that anyone is asserting that it was heard incorrectly. I think, like, I'm looking at the comments, and Rhonda Reynolds, I think, is capturing what I'm saying. People have different interpretations of the question. That's not
correct.
Wrong.
I agree.
Yeah,
because for me, it was important because of what it kind of was on the heels of. You know, because later we're going to talk about one of the questions was about family, and my family was not very demonstrative about love and affection. My mom was not, but I require it. You know, in a romantic relationship because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So you got to know why it's important for you. The role it plays is very important because it's something that I didn't get as a child as I wanted to. And so therefore I refuse to not have it as an adult.
Got it.
There you go.
And Marcus, and let me say, you know, though I didn't have Al Green playing in the background, love and happiness, maybe I should have, but I think depend on the individual and depend on the time that we had. You know, we talked about, you know, relationship, how you interpret that love and affection in a relationship, how you interpret that love and affection, you know, even with your individual family, like children and things like that, and even with parents. So I think it kind of morphed all over the place, depending on who you were talking to as well, and depending on how much time, you know.
Even if you have more time.
You know, moderator Marcus, you weren't there with me and Aria, so you know we felt a little more relaxed. You know,
I understand, but you were only supposed to use an hour. But I hear you.
I think that's what we kind of did. So yeah.
Okay, I'm trusting your kinda. Yep, gotcha.
Kind of did.
Okay. I'm gonna move on. I didn't hear from Darren in there. Shake him. Shake him. Shake him. All right. I'll double back. Last question in set 2 that I want to hear about is, how do you feel about your relationship with your mother? What was that conversation?
That was a good one with everyone I spoke with.
Okay. How?
And I'll speak on that one immediately. Me and Mama thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he ain't no mama's boy. Don't get it twisted.
But I ain't a mama's boy. That's right. Thank you, Aria. I'm not a mama's boy. That's right.
Okay. And is that what he told you, Aria?
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Good. And what about the rest of everybody else? Darren's thick as thieves with mom. What about everybody else?
Everybody loved it.
Nobody had a problem.
I did.
Me too.
So mine was that I wish I had a closer relationship with my mother because my mom is a boy mom. So me being the only or the youngest girl, I have an older sister, but she wasn't in the home. I was saying that I would I had to kind of develop into a let me love her more because it makes me feel better. Kind of like we were saying, the intimacy and affection. I didn't get it from my mother. I got it from my dad. My dad was basically it. So she was like, here you go. Here's your daughter. And so I didn't get both sides of it, even though she was wonderful and supportive in everything I did. I didn't get the motherly thing. So that's what I've had to actually morph myself into being more like a motherly type to my daughter, because I would see the characteristics from my mother of not hugging and not kissing my kids. I showed it, but I didn't actually act on it. So I had to flip the script for myself eventually and say, even though I didn't get that, I have to now do different. And my kids want it. I have to do what I didn't get. I have to give what I didn't get. So it was a little touching for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mine was similar. I'm the only girl, but I'm the tomboy because I had two brothers. And my mother wanted to be a mom of a daughter, not a tomboy. Plus, my mother and I are a lot alike, so much alike. It's the difference in us is that the things that are really important to me, she either doesn't understand or don't care about at all. And I'm the same way. The things that are really important to her, I don't get it or I don't care. And so we had lots of toxic moments when I was growing up. Lots of miscommunicating. So it was harder, even though she loved me, and it took me a while to figure that out. So, but my mom is amazing, and I can talk about her all day long, but I'll hurt somebody else about her. So, it's just that weird, ironic type of relationship.
Got it. And James Williams has joined us. Regina Elmore, thank you both for joining. I hope you will share. We're talking to Valencia Etner, Darren Williams, Bilal Muhammad, Aria Moody, Tasha Green, Christina Smith, and J. Gerald Harvey IV about the 36 questions that lead to love. Valencia, what were you going to share?
I was going to share that I think that maybe for some of us who are without mothers at this point, our reflection of our relationship with her is based on in time relationship as opposed to the growing up thing. Because while my mother was not affectionate, we were very, very close. There was nothing I could not talk to her about. Mm-hmm. And I think I came to grips with the fact that just wasn't who she was. Mm-hmm. And she's been gone almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. So for me, the reflection I have of mother is that last time where we had no secrets, no issues. We were best friends. So that's kind of what I take from the discussion of mother.
Got it. Certainly a difference if your mom is, an angel in the balcony of heaven than an angel here, even if you have some angel issues with the angel, right? So very different. Okay, very good. I want to go to step 3, and then I want to hear from you all. I'm hearing from you, but I want to hear the things in your discussion. So in the next segment, I want you to talk more specifically about your one-on-one talks with individuals. And so hopefully this is a segue to that. Mayetta Harris Hall, thank you for joining us. Click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion on these 36 questions that lead to love. If you want these questions, there is a link that we can send you, or you can inbox us at Love and Stuff, because we want to keep it going. We do want to have more groups that are committed to participating. Don't have me put you out of the groups, please. But we want groups that are willing to participate. So let me ask this question. Where did they go? Tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you just met. So how did the compliments go and flow? Because I hope that was complimentary for you all. Was anybody surprised at what you heard? Did something stand out that was said to you? I see a lot of smiles. Did it make you smile like you're smiling? Share some of that hearing from somebody who had just really had the first real sit down talk with you, and they're giving you compliments and you're giving compliments that's supposed to be honest, right? How did that land on you? How did that make you feel, and what did you hear?
So let me say that the question itself surprised me. That it was so early in the conversation, but we had gotten to the point where we were in each one of the conversations that we were open enough that it was easy.
So J. Gerald, are you telling me that you skipped around because this is in set 3?
No. Okay, but by being, even though it was in set 3, this is early in we're just starting talking about each other, finding out about each other, and to have that question come up even in set 3, it was easy at that point.
And so, tell me, if you can, what landed on you as flattering or surprising? What landed on you, or what did you say that you got a reaction that maybe was surprising to the person you said it to?
I don't think it was surprising. I think it was just eye-opening that the other person was listening and feeling the vibe.
Did they say anything to you that was surprising to you?
No.
Okay. Anybody else hear a compliment that was surprising to you, that you thought you hadn't expected that would come this soon in a conversation?
I think actually all of them were. It let me know that the guys were actually listening to me, and I was like, that's so cool. Just that whole idea that they were paying attention. It wasn't just, okay, let me hurry up and get through this because Marcus told us to.
Okay. And so you're smiling a little bit more widely than you normally do. How did that make you feel? Because it feels like it's a flashback to the feeling. So how did that make you feel?
I was happy. I had fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I learned some things about the guys, and it was easy. I mean, the guys are great. It was easy to compliment all of them. Mm-hmm. It didn't take much.
And I'm trying to get you to focus a little bit on complimenting of you. How did that feel? How did the complimenting of you feel?
Oh, I always like a compliment. So it was fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I was.
Hey, not to interrupt. Mine, I blushed. I was
let her finish her phrase. Go ahead.
So I just said I was pleasantly pleased that they were actually paying attention and had picked up on some things about me that a lot of people don't see.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you to ask one of those things maybe that they picked up on. Christina, go ahead.
I was blushing because, and I think some things I said made them blush a little bit because I think I told a lie.
Hold on right there. I want to come back to that. Hold on to that blush. Tasha,
what?
Did you? Are you over there blushing? What's going on? You okay?
I'm fine. I was disagreeing with Aria. I hope I pronounced your name right. Mm-hmm. Because some of the, as she said, they were paying attention in some of the comments that I got. Not comments, some of the conversations as well as what they said. I'm like, oh, okay. They pinpointed, and it's like it's a whole lot of times where I'm always trying to hide who Tasha is, and they said it. You know what I'm saying?
And how did that make you feel?
It made me smile.
Okay. And so you felt smile is okay. Valencia.
Yes.
Compliments, how did it make you feel? What?
Affirmed.
Okay. All right. Let me go back.
This is hard. That's a hard thing to just talk about right here.
I see.
Some things you kind of want to, I feel like Mary, when the shepherds came, some things I just want to ponder in my heart. I don't want to share.
Yeah. And I feel like the shepherds too, like, what's in your heart? No, I'm just
Can I say this?
Hold on 1 second, Darren. I want to double back to Christina.
Okay.
Who did you make blush, Christina? Who blushed?
I think Bilal blushed because I told him I liked his voice. Mm-hmm. He's like, my voice? What you mean? What you talking about? My radio voice? So it was cute. Because, and like I said, I think it's a vulnerable thing, and me and him had talked about that. So it was a little important in our conversation to be vulnerable that way. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I come from a sales and marketing, whatever. But at the end of the day, I know how to compliment somebody. But I was real with it. Like I really wanted to take that question as be for real and give a real nice compliment.
And so, Christine, I want to just turn it around. Who made you blush? What was that made you blush?
All made me blush. They
Say it
did.
again.
They all made me blush.
What did they say that made you blush?
That I had a nice smile.
Okay.
That you know, that I was. It was like something that you want to hear.
I'm gonna stop you there because I feel like it's pondering in your heart, like Valencia. I don't want to get into your heart too deep. I feel like I'm just. I feel like I'm intruding into the heart space, so I'm gonna let that go for a second. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Aria, I'm coming back to you. Did you blush? Did they blush?
You know, I don't think so. I think we all ended up with the warm fuzzies.
Okay.
Like we were all happy. It made us feel good. I don't know if anybody blushed though. I don't think we went into anything that was so, I don't know, that was so personal, maybe. That would make
I feel like I'm in some
It was
hurt.
just cute compliments.
Okay. Let me
Yeah,
ask.
and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it made anybody blush. I think the things that we talked about were character driven. So you know,
smile isn't really that character driven, but I hear you. So I want to ask this. What were some of the compliments that you were given, Aria?
Now he wants to get personal.
No, I haven't gotten.
My heart.
I haven't gotten personal yet, but I think asking, personal for me would be, now, Aria, what did Bilal say versus what Darren said, what Gerald said? You can still say general. He said, I'm a nice person. I don't know who said what because I really didn't have cameras in the room.
Well,
the only way I will know and the viewing audience will know is if somebody go to blushing when you saying it. That's the only way. So fix your face when they talk and fix your face.
Relate.
All right. So Aria.
One of the things that came up was my confidence, and a lot of people don't see that. So I love the fact that they picked up on that. One of the things that came up was my love of life. Yeah. And that is a testament to God because most of my life, no one knew that I was happy about life.
Okay.
And so
that's good. I don't want you to give me more because now I'm guessing into who it is. So let me let you a little bit.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell you. I don't.
That's okay. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at guessing.
Yeah. You just know that couldn't be me because I'm not that deep, right? Huh, Marcus?
Wow.
No, I think you're very deep. Just for the audience, I think you're very deep. You just don't want people to know it.
Yikes.
So I'm wondering if you got
not giving out secrets.
I wonder if you got into set 3 and people start to really know. If you opened up for them to really know, oh, there is more to this guy than meets the eye.
So let me just say.
That's going deep. See, I wasn't going there. I wasn't trying to go there. I'm just trying to find out in general.
So since we were just using
Aria. When I got to the section, everybody's smiling except Tasha was nervously smiling. But everybody else is smiling about getting the compliments. And I'm like, well, this is a good section. Because oftentimes people will lavish people with compliments, but they feel some kind of way about getting them sometimes. So I wanted to see what that was like. What was the dynamic when someone's giving you?
Yeah, I love to give compliments. It's just hard to take them.
That's what I'm saying. I love getting them and I love giving them. I really enjoy giving them to all the men and I enjoy getting them as well.
Well, that's good to hear.
It's not easy.
Because most people are really good at giving them, but not as good as receiving them. And I wanted to see how it landed on you, whether or not it
blushed
up or did it affirm, like Valencia say something that?
I blushed.
You blushed, Bilal?
Bilal, you blushed? Okay. Christina telling on you. I wasn't going to ask who, but Christina's telling on you.
He did. I mean, because I think, like you said, it caught him off guard. He was like, "What do you mean, my voice? Hello, my voice." You know, what I mean, and then he played into it because it was like, "Yeah, okay." And the same too. When somebody said, "I like your smile," I was like, "So I smile more." I mean, it's just natural. It's just natural. When somebody said, "Oh, your hair's so pretty," oh, it's been something like that. So and sometimes we take the compliment and we flip it, like we diss the compliment, like, oh no, this whole thing, instead of saying thank you.
Right.
You know, so it can get a little different when you're receiving a compliment, but I think there is an art in receiving it, because the receiving is, yeah, if you see that in me, then I got it.
And I
It's
like
funny because all three of them had me go, oh, at least once.
Right. Whatever the compliment was, if somebody's just giving you a nice compliment, whether it's your character, you're so smart, everything you say is cool. I mean, you cool to talk to. All of those make you blush. It's not just a look or something like that.
Got it.
So
I'm going to go back to Darren because he did have a point, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you. But what I wanted to say, I love the placement of that question, because if you're on a path to open up more, compliments typically open you up more and cause you to reflect a bit. And I think it's taking you to an interesting next part, which I think I'm just going to ask one of those questions because I don't think I'm getting too deep. Darren, you were going to say something.
Yeah, and I remember what I was going to say after all of that.
Thank you.
That I was going to say that Valencia actually said the word that I had in mind. When I got the compliments, it was affirmation. I felt affirmed by these sisters.
And
it was a good moment.
How did you feel in that moment, getting so much affirmation?
It was a bit surprised.
Okay.
And the surprise was how forthcoming they were, how honest they were, and what they shared. Yeah, good feeling though. Of course, good feeling.
I think that's a pivotal moment, because then there is already vulnerability type driven questions, but it starts to pour on a little bit more. And so how vulnerable are you feeling at this point? And are you vulnerable enough to share that embarrassing moment? How did that go? Vulnerable enough to say, what was the question right behind it? Was it an embarrassing moment? And when did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself?
Right.
You know, how did you feel about sharing those things, such a wide range of things, embarrassment and crying, though you could be embarrassed and cry, but embarrassment, how did you feel about sharing those things at that point?
I felt like it was a great range that to go from the compliment to go to the other stuff. And for me, there wasn't I didn't have any relationship to the question sequentially. I had a better relationship with some questions than I did with other questions. And so it wasn't for me like, well, this one really made me feel vulnerable and opened me up so that I was ready to answer it. It wasn't like that. Some of the questions I really gravitated to, the other one was just like, oh, really? This is in here?
Okay.
That was me.
And so back to the question about that, the embarrassment question. How did you feel sharing an embarrassing moment at that point?
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Because I shared some embarrassing stuff. I really did.
Yeah. I see some head shaking. So he shared some embarrassing stuff.
It was funny though. We had a good laugh, all of us. I mean,
yeah.
By that,
I think most of the embarrassing moments were a little bit comical. So
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And by the time
Aria, when you say all of us, you mean with all of the guys?
Yes. So with all of the guys, we had a good laugh, because by that time we had talked about so many things.
Specifically with Darren, ladies, you had a good laugh about his embarrassing moment.
It wasn't funny, but you can laugh now.
Aria, about Darren, I'm trying to get you.
Oh yes, his embarrassing moment. We both had a good laugh. He laughed, I laughed. It was hilarious, and he was like, "Man, I can't believe I told you this. Woo, this is fun." You know.
Okay. Darren wasn't.
I agree. It wasn't funny, but you could laugh now about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Darren
he had an embarrassing moment that wasn't funny, but now since he's older, you can kind of chuckle. But when it happened, it was not funny.
So Darren, was it the same embarrassing moment that you share with all the ladies?
This is no to you, Marcus. It was not.
Okay.
Because I got a bag full of embarrassments. That's what I said.
Okay.
He did. No, he did say I gotta go in the bag. Okay. He did.
All right. And then Darren, on the question of crying by yourself or crying in front of someone, was it the same situation or did you pull out different things for each person?
No, that was the same. That was the same.
Okay. And so,
Yeah.
ladies, what you remember of that, you don't have to share the specific thing. What was your reaction to him sharing that moment of crying in front of someone, or last time he cried or cried by himself? What was your reaction to that?
Empathy.
Okay.
Just to listen.
I'm sorry, Aria, you said.
I said, yeah, it was just to listen and just be in that moment with him.
Yeah.
Okay. And anybody else? Did that cause you to see him any differently?
For me, I seen him as he really is, because it was true to his character of what he told me, why and when he cried. But it was true to his character and the way he is in his life and what's going on with him currently or in his past. But it didn't make me feel like, oh wow, you're not the type of person I would think would cry or wouldn't cry, you know. So I felt, okay, yeah, I can see him in that moment and why.
Okay. Did that endear you? Did that endear anybody to him anymore?
Yeah. Yes.
I got one yeah, and everybody else is just looking at the screen.
I say no.
I was thinking
I think because I was the first one to have it, the question. I was the first one he asked that he went through those questions with. Mm-hmm. And I think that getting to that moment was not as it would be more common once he got through that first one to have the conversation with everyone else. So if that last time, you know, that the importance of what that moment was to his heart was important, and it did endear me more because I realized he was sharing with me something painful, maybe for the first time since it had happened.
Got it. And was that the case for you, Tasha, or Christina, who's, hey,
was
that for you?
I was just in the moment with him because I understood his feeling.
Got it. And my question is, did that endear you to him anymore?
I said no, because like I was trying to explain.
I was trying to get Tasha. Hold on 1 second, Christina. I was asking Tasha. I'm gonna come back to you. Tasha.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it didn't.
Okay. And Christina, you said no, it didn't because you were gonna elaborate. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was saying no because like my previous answer, I felt that's the type of person he was. Like, you know, I didn't feel any I didn't feel like sympathy because I felt like, okay, that's, you know, I feel why he did that, why he cried in that moment, or the situation that was going on with him. So, you know, I understood, let's say that.
Got it. And did that make you like him more? I think is what I'm trying to ask you.
Absolutely. I mean, because he was open.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Okay. And so now I'm going to Bilal. His answer to the same question. Did it endear you any more to Bilal or change how you looked at Bilal from that point?
For me, it did.
Okay. And why?
Yes, for me, it did.
Okay.
Because I looked at him like, I mean, he looks like from just looking at him, and you know, if this was like the first question, I would have thought he was somebody mean, but actually, you know, I understood, I felt sympathy, and you know, it made me like, I didn't look at him no differently though.
Okay.
But so I did feel like some of the pain and sympathy with him when he told me what it was.
Got it. And so back to my question, the other ladies, when you asked this question of Bilal, did that endear you? Did you like him anymore? Did that make you look at him any differently?
Valencia, I'm kind of feeling like the oddball out right now because I didn't have that kind of a response to any of the gentlemen when we got to that question. I don't think I could have liked them anymore. At that point, I already liked them. So it didn't do any more to make me like
you think as much as you can like these three gentlemen, you've already reached that plateau? Is that
right? At that point, I was already there. So it didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't.
You hearing me? Can you like them more than where you are now?
I mean, maybe, but at that point in the question, it didn't make me go, wow, I like him even more than I did when the conversation started. it just made me feel for them.
I just wondered whether or not you lost me when you said you couldn't like them more. I'm like, I'm not sure is that true?
I mean, I'm saying at that. Okay, so the question didn't make me like them anymore.
Gotcha.
The response to the question didn't make me like them anymore.
Got you. Not that you couldn't like them anymore.
Because they were just who they were.
Gotcha. I'm understanding. Thank you for helping me. I wasn't following at first.
I was curious.
Okay. Breakthrough. Marcus, you got a breakthrough?
At least one a day. Yeah. So Christina and Valencia, did it make you like him more? Could you like him more? I better throw that question in there. Could you like Bilal more? And did that question make you like him more?
Again, I was first one in the room with this. So therefore, it was a fresh question. And so it made him vulnerable. That was his first, like, I gotta open up and be vulnerable about this.
I want to ask you though, Valencia, couldn't he have judged that he was too vulnerable with you and then changed course with the other ladies? So it could be the converse too, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
But I'm not getting that from them. I'm getting from them that, and from him that he was happy to finally be open. Did you like him more after that? I guess I could just say I was happy that he was vulnerable enough to share it.
Yes. And did that make you like him more?
That's a hard question to answer.
I'm gonna come back to you and let you ponder on it.
No. It's not even that. I can answer it. It's just that when you already have an affinity for a person, it doesn't make you necessarily like them more. It makes you see them more. But it doesn't necessarily.
And so when you see more of him, did you like the more that you saw?
You're stuck there.
And he ain't shifted.
I guess, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am stuck there because I'm thinking if you see more of an individual and you like the more that you see, then you probably like them more, probably, right?
Not if you're already to the point where you see that you can vibe with them already. You know what I'm saying?
But I guess in following that thinking, are you at a plateau of where you could not like him anymore is what I'm asking. And if you're not there, then seeing him more might be one of the ways that you could like him more. Learning more about him might be one of the ways.
Well, for me, I don't know that such a plateau exists, so to speak.
And when you say such a plateau exists, that you could like him more?
It's a cutoff. I like you this much, and this is as far as it can
that's
go.
what I was thinking earlier. So
I don't making sure know that exists. I think that I like you, and it's just open. It's not a cutoff point. It's not a here, there, this much, that much. I just, you are a cool guy, so you are cool with me. It's just.
Got it. And I would imagine if, for just using Bilal hypothetically, if you all continue to go down a journey of exploring and learning more about each other, I'd be interested to hear if that shifts or changes that state.
I already told Bilal he's stuck with me, so he might as well just get used to it.
And I'm gonna come back to that just to make sure I understand. I'm sure Bilal understands it, but I want to make sure I understand what that stuck with is. Okay. Christina, I want to go to you. Did you like him more? If there is such a plateau, no, I'm teasing. Did you like him more?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna move on to Jay Gerald. Jay Gerald, when he answered that question, did you like him more? I'm still with the mores. Yeah, did you like him more? Jay Gerald answered the question and told you where he cried and whether he cried by himself. Did you like him more after hearing that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Aria?
No, I just felt like I knew more about him.
Okay, Valencia?
The answer resonated where I thought it would anyway.
Okay.
So it was I wasn't surprised by what he said.
Okay, Tasha?
I just felt the same about him once he got to that question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which is, I already liked him about the time we got there. So.
All right. We are talking to Valencia Etner, Darren Williams, Bilal Muhammad, our senior associate producer, Jay Gerald Harvey IV, Aria Moody, Tasha Green, and Christina Smith, 36 questions that lead to love. And I've just asked them the questions that were burning questions for me. I got some burning answers and some I'm still not sure I'm gonna ponder. I'm gonna ponder them in my heart, like Mary. But now I want to hear from them. I know it's 9:38, but this is part 2 and it's fantastic. Brian Cooper has joined us. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share. Rhonda's laughing. I know. I'm just, pray for me. I'm hilarious.
Marcus, I'm gonna go first because you said 9:38 and I'm supposed to be going to another audition, so I gotta hurry up.
And I'm cooking.
Okay. Well, okay.
But thank you.
Let me share.
I'm hanging in there.
Let me share with you what I'd like to do. Because each of you talk with each other, I wanted to give each of you a chance to talk about your pairings. Just a second, okay? So, Aria, since you are otherwise engaged, and I appreciate your time. Aria and Darren, how was that meeting? Because you all have not met outside of Love and Stuff, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so are there questions or moments that really resonated with the two of you where you're like, not a connection or connection? I'd like to find out more about Aria. It was a pleasant time, vice versa. What were those moments like?
Can we first laugh at Aria? Because even though I read the title, 36 Questions That Lead to Love, my brain was nowhere near that. I was just thinking we were talking just to see what the questions were like. just to get an idea. It didn't even dawn on me to think about romance at all.
So, I love you, but I can't laugh at you at this point. Because there were too many directions and guides about what to do with the information, but I hear you.
But remember now,
you went in there just being Aria talking and just talking to get to know Darren.
It was. And we had a good time. That was the thing. And I think
so you didn't answer the questions, you did or didn't?
Oh, we answered every single question.
Okay. All right. So which
I think that's what made it easier for me is the fact that I wasn't thinking about romance. I was just thinking about, okay, I'm gonna meet 3 new people.
Okay. All right. Pretty much like you might a stranger or might not, depending.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure most of us would not have come up with a total stranger. Having the security of knowing that they are a part of the Love and Stuff community helped. Because I'm sure a lot of that a total stranger never would have heard from me.
Absolutely. But one thing, Marcus,
I'm just trying to get Aria through her part because she's got to go.
I know. What I wanted to say is about Aria, when we were done,
can I have her do hers with Darren and then come back to you? Okay.
My bad.
Thank you so much. So you and Darren were talking, and how did it go?
We had a really good time. Darren actually was the one who kept me on time. We got through like tick, 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 and I was laughing because I was saying to him, very few people can do that with me. When they start talking and I get going, I am going. It's like, oh yeah, I'm right. We're supposed to be talking about this now. Okay. And he did it with such grace. I didn't even realize it until part of the way through, like, oh dang, we're gonna finish early because
okay. So you were bowling through those questions. Anything resonate in the conversation that for either of you, anything resonate or stand out in your conversation?
Darren is a gentle giant. Darren is a spiritual giant. Darren is an amazingly astute minister. He's just a great guy all around. He's super intelligent. And I think a couple of times he's probably tested me a little bit. At least it just kind of felt like that with his questions, and I purposely didn't answer them.
So when you say he was testing you with his questions, was it the 36 questions or some additional?
some of the 1 or 2 few sidebar questions we got to.
Oh, okay. So Darren, you had a whole other set of questions apparently.
That's not true. That's not true.
It wasn't that many, Marcus.
What resonated with you about Aria and the questions that, the real ones?
The one word kind of comes to mind is fearless. And I say that, and that's the arc of the conversation because, with talking about her previous experience, And the fact that she is not hampered or hindered by where she's been, and she is willing and just charging forward. That fearlessness, that was something that really reached me.
Here comes the awe again.
Okay. And so Aria and Bilal. Now Bilal, you can get your come on, Bilal. All right.
No, I can say I thought she had to go. My bad. But anyway, one of the things when we left off, I felt that I connected with a good friend. You know, so even though we went into this just asking the questions, there was no side questions, but you know, we stuck to the script. We answered the questions as they were laid out. But at the end, I was like, man, you know, we could be, you know, really good friends. Somebody who I can actually probably even confide in, you know, some of my issues that I have, you know, like I don't cry. No. So anyway, so it was a good exercise.
Okay. And Aria, what was your, from the questions with
exactly
Bilal?
the same. Bilal and I felt like we had known each other forever already. And now it's literally the first actual conversation I think Bilal and I have ever had in life. And it felt like we have known each other forever. I even met his family while we were talking. And one of the things that I think each of the guys found out about me is that they have all become a prayer assignment. There were things that each of them said to me, and I said, oh, that's why I'm praying for you. Okay, cool. Now I know. And so I think we'll all be connected. Period.
Okay. Going to J. Gerald. J. Gerald, what resonated with you about Aria?
I think the biggest thing that resonated with me about Aria was her sense of humor. She's driven, and that she really knows what she wants to do, and she's going after it, and she goes after it strong. So that's what resonated with me.
Okay. And Aria, what resonated with you about J. Gerald?
Again, he's another gentle guy. He loves his family, and he's funny. Anyone's cast tech. Oh, anyway. Technicians in the house. Okay, but no, he's hilarious. And we just had a good time. Like I said, I didn't walk into this kind of knowing what to expect, partially because I had missed a lot of the instructions. And the other part is because, like I said, I read the title of the questions, but it didn't compute right away because I thought literally this was an experiment to see about people who don't know each other being able to talk to each other and be open with each other. It didn't even dawn on me anything romantic about it. I was just like, oh, okay, this is gonna be an interesting little social experiment. I can't wait to see what happens. And I think, like I said, that it helped me a lot that all of these men were men who already I could honor because of the fact that they were a part of this community and they were strong parts of the community who you already honored. So it allowed me to trust them a lot more than the average stranger.
Okay, good point. Aria, thank you so much. I know that you have another assignment to handle. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you guys so much. I had a ball.
Okay.
And I haven't forgotten anything that I said, and I will talk to you all soon.
All right, thanks.
Bye, Aria.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, Aria.
See you later.
Christina, I wanted
Thank you.
Christina, I wanted to go to you. So,
yes, sir.
Your time with, and I hope that everybody made it through the questions, but your time with Darren, anything resonate from your time with Darren that are around these 36 questions that lead to love?
For Darren, I'm going to say that we had a lot in common, singing, like musically, and so the common factors were there. He was a really nice time to talk to. The conversation flowed really nicely. We had I had a good time talking to him, and he's handsome. So
okay, all right. And
Easy
I
to
guess
talk to.
somewhere in there were some questions. Did any of them resonate specifically? Any answers that you remember?
Oh, specifically, yes, sir. I'll be honest. He told me that he's a procrastinator, and I'm not. So, maybe that was one of the questions. Was like if you had to wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, you know. So stuff like that. But I think as far as when we were talking about having a dream or something to do that we haven't done yet, it was common, like traveling, finishing up some things that we really need to do before we die, things like that.
Got
so it. Yeah.
And so Darren, what about Christina? What was your overall impression, and any of the questions or answers stand out to you about Christina?
Overall impression, the whole arc of the conversation. She loves love, and she is not afraid. Her vulnerability, strangely, her vulnerability is a strength for her because of how much she believes in love. Mm-hmm. And that came from several of the different questions.
Okay.
That were her responses to them.
Okay. And any one thing stand out about those responses or questions or Christina?
Yeah, because again, I mentioned it way earlier. She most uniquely, her response to the question about, living to 90, would you want your mind or your body? She was like, I want both, 50-50, half and half. That was so unique to me. And so that stood out, that resonated.
Yeah. And did it resonate with you in a way that you're like, or how did it, in what way did that resonate?
Yeah, be in the sense that it took a certain kind of intelligence, a certain kind of way of seeing things, okay, to be able to answer that way.
Got it. And Christine has stepped away. I think she's cooking. I'm gonna
go. All right, I'm still here though. I can hear you.
Got it. I'm going to Bilal.
Wait, one question, Marcus. What are you cooking?
What am I cooking? I'm frying chicken wings in olive oil, and I'm making broccoli, and I have some sweet potatoes.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. You got your let love spread like a pandemic, so spread some plates around the Detroit area.
All of that.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Bilal, what was your impression of Christina, and any of her answers stand out to you that just come straight to your mind?
Okay, let's see. Christina impressed me because she's pretty smart. She's driven. She's independent, and we had some similarities even in relationships, which we kind of talked about. So when she talked about like a past relationship, I'm like, oh wow, almost exact. So so it made a easier connection along the way. Her sense of humor, she's funny, she's always smiling. So it was an enjoyable conversation. I'm trying to see. I'm still trying to get over that. Yeah, she made me blush with the thing, the voice. I was taken off guard. But outside of that, Christina, she, we had a good conversation. Again, someone else who, I can call up and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. Talk me through it. And I feel that she probably wouldn't give me some bad advice or, try to sabotage me or whatever. So, she's trustworthy.
Okay. So. Okay. And Christina, what about Bilal? What was your overall impression? And was there any one answer or response that stuck out to you?
Outside of her psychoanalyzing me sometimes, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep, Christina.
The rules of love and affection playing in your life. If there's something that there was like the questions, if there was something that you could, I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank, So we agreed in a lot of that. The love and affection part impressed me. And I do actually think he had a nice voice. So I found a lot of connection. Like I said, like if basically I'm gonna just put out there, I would date Bilal. So
let me ask this. I felt
that much impression.
Okay, I felt that a little bit, but I was gonna ask when you said you all pretty much agreed. Was it agreed on the item that you would share with somebody? Because last week that was the heavy, medium, light. So did you all come to a medium spot?
Well, we got to talk. We had to get, but see, with us, we had skipped through. We didn't do like I think one of the ladies said we didn't do it right. Right. So when we did it the right way, it was more comfortable. It was more sharing, and it was more that we could do more with that question. Before it was like,
Got it.
Should I say it or shouldn't I? This time I was like, okay, I can kind of share.
Got it. Okay, very good.
So Bilal's a good guy.
Okay, and then Bilal, she said that she would date you. How did that land on you? I'm not looking for you to respond and say I date her, but how did it land?
Me neither.
How did that land on you?
I'm blushing again.
Okay. I just wanted to see if that's what I didn't want to say. You're blushing. I wanted you.
You can see the color, you know. Yeah.
I can't really, but I'm with you.
I know I'm joking.
That's funny.
J. Gerald, you have gone away from. Okay, there you go. And look at you. Got on your love and stuff. I didn't even recognize that. Look at you. J. Gerald, what was your impression of Christina? You got to unmute yourself.
Mm-hmm. We listening.
All right, so I think with Christina, there was a whole lot that we shared in common that I was not expecting.
Okay.
It was an easy conversation. Unfortunately, we ran over time. It was all her fault.
Leave the room. Get out.
You mean you ran over?
It was all her fault. And
oh my goodness. How did that happen?
We had a good time.
I don't know how it happened.
What were you doing in that room unsupervised?
We had a good time.
Yeah,
going over 36 questions.
But
we got through all the
run over in general in every room. Is that what happened?
No,
every room you were in was late.
No, only this room was late.
It's good talking to me. The people I talked to were good to talk to, and they felt I was good to talk to. So we was like, yeah,
I know.
Run over.
You set your timer, but y'all didn't get out in time.
Some people didn't think it was a good idea to get out on time.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. That's important information to know.
I'm honest.
Thank you so much. And so, J. Gerald, even though you ran over time, I guess you got extra information about Christina. Any of the questions or responses resonate with you? Any of her responses stick out like you can remember it almost verbatim?
I guess the one, I don't even know if it was one of the questions, but or one of the answers to the questions. But we both to Western Michigan and discussing school and family and her daughters. And the one that really resonated was when she was telling me about how she just had a conversation with her daughter tonight, and that she had to be the parent, and yet she has to be loving on the opposite side as well. And she played both of those parts very well.
Okay. All right. Christina, J. Gerald, did anything resonate with you about him? Any of the responses to his questions that stand out?
Yes. I'm going to say when we were talking about 4 minutes, I believe, of your life, take 4 minutes to tell your partner your life. So I learned a lot of great things about him. Like he said that I wouldn't have known or imagined if that question wouldn't have came up, because it's kind of like a little snippet, and you got to kind of like go through it real quick because you want people to know the most important things. And I found out we were both PKs, which is preacher kids, and that a lot about our mothers. And like he said that he has daughters and granddaughters, and I have a daughter. So the parenting part kind of came up because we're single parents. So that was very important, how we related to our children and how we disciplined them or not. But I think the greatest accomplishments of your life is, he was saying, his calling, receiving it, and actually going for it. And I think I had a similar kind of thing. Like, you know, God told me that this is your vision and your journey. You should do it. And I had to jump. I had to stop what I was doing and do what God asked me to do, because it was more rewarding. So we had that in common as well. So some of the questions brought out, obviously, like I said, I would have never known he was a PK, and I was a PK, a preacher's kid. And a lot of things that happened in our life being under a pastor as a child, or being in the church as a pastor's kid. So it was really interesting. And I would say that I would date J. Gerald as well.
Okay. You are just, you're hitting, you know, you found handsome men that you date. Okay. Make sure you show off that chicken when you're done. It might get you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't show it off.
I can't wait.
Pass the
I'm gonna show you. I can't. Yeah.
Okay, Tasha. Tasha Green. Tasha Green.
I'm still here.
Okay, we have to see you for this part. We have
Hold on. I'm trying to charge my phone at the same time.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hopefully y'all don't lose me.
Okay. We hope.
Well, it's on 3%.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Plug it in. Okay. You had time with Darren. What's your overall impression of Darren? And is there anything in that time with Darren that stood out in his responses from these 36 questions?
We answered all the questions. No. Well, with Darren, he's I see that he was more than what I thought he was, as far as he's a gentle giant.
Okay. Any of the questions, can you remember any of his responses that stood out to you?
Hold on, no.
Okay. Darren, what's your overall impression of Tasha, and did any of her responses stand out to you?
Her response that stood out to me, the very last one, we talked about sharing something personal with you, and asked how they would, you know, how your
oh yeah, I forgot about that one. You're right.
Yeah, her response there really stood out to me, because it spoke to what my overall impression of her is. Very big about family, loving family, but the overall impression is that Tasha be the one that, you know, if somebody in your corner, that if you got somebody you got to share with, that you need somebody that got your back, that's Tasha. That's my impression over the whole conversation.
Okay. And Tasha, what was your impression of Bilal, and what, if any, questions or responses stood out to you?
Okay, can I go back to Darren for a hot second? Because one did step out where I can't remember how the question was, as far as tell something that's going on with you, how would you do it? How, you know, share that one and see how they'll help you out with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it was in segment 3.
Okay.
He helped out a lot as far as his information or whatnot.
Okay.
And then from what he just said.
Okay.
And you said, well, Bilal.
Yeah. What was your impression of Bilal and the response or responses that stood out to you?
Bilal, another gentle giant, as well as I know that he'll get into your tail. You know, he don't like it seems like he don't like showing the gentleness of himself. Mm-hmm. We had an awesome conversation. I could see me dating all 3 of these guys. I
was trying to get you to go to one at a time, but thank you.
I know, but I'm just, like I said, I'm at so much of a percentage. But me and Bilal, I'm trying to think, it's that one where he was saying the last time he cried, and I was sharing with him, my son don't cry. in front of people, either if he cried off, you know. And I said, I guess that's just a man thing. And then it was another one where I told him, I think I know him from growing up, still haven't figured out where, if we got a mutual friend or whatnot, but it'll come to me eventually. But he was just so easy to talk to.
Okay.
There's other questions that we put into the questions that I did find out, you know, a lot about him.
So you all added questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was inquisitive, you know.
Let me go to Bilal. Bilal, what was your overall impression of Tasha, and what questions that were among the 36 questions stood out to you?
You know, Tasha was my number 2, so I had a little practice.
He was the second person. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Not your number 2, not your ranking.
She was the second person who I spoke with.
Okay, thank you.
So gotta keep it clear for this brother. But and I found it was easier to talk to her because I knew the questions. Okay. Mm-hmm. If this was like a first date kind of thing, I probably wouldn't have opened up as much. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what questions are being asked. So anyway, back to Tasha. Tasha, obviously, I missed asking some of the right questions. I still don't know about some cheesecake or something, or some cookie. I don't know. But anyway, I'll get to that.
It ain't cheesecake.
What was it?
Cinnamon rolls.
The cinnamon rolls. But Tasha was easy to talk to, and especially when we found out that, okay, we lived in the same neighborhood. So we were trying to figure out, like, who does she know that I know, or where does she go that I went, because it's not like I get around. Come on. But we just had we had a cool connection. Tasha is somebody who, again, is going through all these questions that I would consider a friend, and honestly, I'm not even new friend collecting, to be honest with you, but, Tasha would, be right there.
Okay. All right. And then Tasha, what did your conversation with Jay Gerald, what did you think of Jay Gerald overall, and what responses to the 36 questions, if any, stood out to you?
It was one where we had, I think was tell 5 characteristics, and the characteristics or the compliments he gave me, I'm like, wow, because it's not that many people that see what he said. And that was just my confidence, as well as actually all of them. It was the confidence that stood out the most.
Okay.
I got a brain fart, but still, I loved all of them.
And what did you think of him overall?
Overall, outstanding friend. I could see him being a real good friend.
Okay. Let me go to Jay Gerald. What did you think overall of Tasha, and any of the 36 question responses stand out to you?
So with Tasha, she seems like she seems quiet and shy and all that, but she's not, and that was the main thing that that I got from her, was that she's open, she's honest, and she's a good conversationalist. So that was what stood out to me as far as the questions were concerned. Just all the questions, she really opened up, and I wasn't expecting her to be as open as she was. About family and about her grandmother and cooking in the kitchen with her grandmother. That was real telling.
Okay. So did that come up when you were talking about how you were raised, or was that an additional question? I'm just curious.
That was one of the great the question about the best moments. Fondest memory.
And so you shared that fondest memory with him. I'm just curious, but not with Bilal?
No, the thing I didn't share with Bilal was, and see, you got to remember, Bilal was the first person I talked to out of the group. So these questions, I didn't, I guess I opened up more since I knew what the questions were. And not only that, I wasn't as vulnerable this week as I was last week. But it was, what was your worst memory? That's the one I didn't answer with Bilal.
No, my question was, did you have that same answer about the cooking with your grandmother that you had with J. Gerald? Did you have that with Bilal? Was the question. Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to find out. Okay. Thank you. I wanted to go because Valencia and Bilal, you all were first. I wanted to go to the two of you that were first. This was fresh in, right? And so from that first conversation, even though you now have seen all conversations, so it's you got to kind of, you know, pull that apart. But Valencia, what's your impression of Bilal, and what in that interview question stands out from his responses?
Flustered because she's still on mute.
Thanks, Bilal.
Welcome, Valencia.
What it was 7 days ago. So let me try to get my hair rewrapped around it. I'm trying to think which question I think was like that stood out the most. Maybe
we're both in this room feeling.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah, that one was. Thank you, Bilal. Appreciate that. Because at first it was kind of, for a minute it was like, how are we supposed to do this? And then Bilal just said, we're both in this room feeling comfortable. And I was like, okay, now I kind of get where we're headed. So those kinds of, that question was good for us. Okay. We were in the room feeling comfortable and open. Okay. And that was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? What do you think of him overall?
Well, saying Bilal's a great guy would be like saying what everybody else says, and I don't really want to say that, but even though it's the truth. What I think is this, Bilal, don't beat me, please. Bilal is an amazing work in progress, and I am just really interested to see on the other side of this chiseling down of the things he and I have talked about, and he knows what I'm talking about, that just what's going to emerge and who's going to emerge from that. He's a great guy now, but he's on his way somewhere to be a whole different metamorphosis of what he has been.
Okay. Bilal, what do you think of Valencia overall, and what responses stood out to you about Valencia?
Well, like I said, that whole set 3 was just something else. Because she was my first person who I answered questions and gave questions to.
Get all those words out.
I was gonna say because she was my first.
Right.
When we got to set 3, it was like, oh wow, so now I got to get even deeper. I went, I like the shallow part of the pool. So I said, well, here, you know what? If I don't open up, then I may miss out. And then she even told me that I may miss out on a wonderful opportunity. So I said, well, look, let me go ahead and try this thing. Let's taste and see. So when we got to that first question, we were both in this room feeling, it was just natural. I just let loose, say, hey, we're both feeling comfortable. We were talking, we were having an exchange, we were making a connection. So I think set 3 for us really allowed us to see, deeper to who each other was, because she shared some things with me as well. Like, wow, just thinking like, man, I wish the best for her, just because of some of the things she's told me. And so there was a connection, because of set 3, even though you did rush us. Just want to put that out there.
I rushed the people that, you know why you got rushed, but here's my question. Because I don't know if you answered it, but you did say some great stuff.
I know how to dance around the question, brother. Okay.
And they tell me I'm a really great dancer, but there are times when I stop the music. Were there any specific responses that resonated with you? Specific responses?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
what do you think of Valencia overall?
I mean, it's this one question, and she put it out there, and she was like, "Will this happen to me?" And I mean, I was just like, "Wow," you know, not to put it in the street, but it just you know, it hit my heart.
Okay.
You know? So,
right. And
absolutely.
overall, what do you think of Valencia overall?
Oh, Valencia is fantastic, you know, in which any man on this panel, any man in the world who is honest and true, it would be a blessing for that man to have Valencia. You know, but it has to be the right guy. You know, it has to be someone who is confident within their own self. You know, you can't half step with Valencia.
So let me ask it a different way. What do you think about Valencia? He did. I thought he was telling me what other guys would be happy at.
I told you Valencia is an awesome woman.
Okay. Maybe you said that and I missed it. I thought you were telling me any guy on this panel or in the world in Dubai or the Congos would love to have Valencia. I didn't hear what you were saying about you. That's what I was trying to find out. Okay.
No, it was a deflection.
Okay, because none of you all are as forthright as Christina. She said, I like this one, small, medium.
Christina the bomb. She just like, boom.
Oh, you know, and that wasn't the question I was going to ask, but she offered it. So I'm like, okay, let me just, you know, ask, what do you think overall? Let me go to J. Gerald, because Valencia, you do know J. Gerald, and you do know Valencia. So that might have been different. Did you all learn any new stuff about each other? And how has that shaped this connection through questions, these 36 questions? What do you think of J. Gerald now? And did any questions stand out, response rather? And
I knew it was crazy and now it's bona fide. But no, I'm just kidding.
You spent your time with him. You spent your time. You
long
did
as,
time right.
Long as you know.
And now I know it's true.
Now you know. You spent your time.
As long as you know. And you know why. And you know some of the reasons why.
Yeah, you did your work as a young fan. You did your work.
Yeah. JJ and I have a commonality from church years. And so faith-wise, we're you know, we resonate with each other as far as our foundations and stuff are concerned. But I guess I learned some things because these questions make you ask some things you would not ask of someone just in normal, you know, discussion with them. And then the other part is that you get to see and hear what they think of you. And that's not something you always get a direct answer about. So.
Okay. And so now we know you're bona fide crazy. What did you find out about Valencia, J. Gerald? And what answer or answers jumped out to you or stood out to you?
That Valencia is not always Mama V.
Okay.
She's funny. She has a zest for life. Her willingness to love resonated with me because, you know, although you go through so much in your life and still be willing to be vulnerable again, that resonated with me.
Okay, all right. And then Darren and Valencia. So Darren, what did you think of Valencia and overall? And were there any responses that stood out to you and resonated?
Your mic's on. Your mic's off like me. See?
No responses, no questions, particularly that resonated, because the way Valencia communicates resonates. And if something, overall impression wise, if there's an overall impression,
now I'm curious, when you say if there is, you had an overall impression for everybody else. So when you say if there is, What's the pause? I'm just curious.
It's not a pause,
Okay.
but the way she communicates, there's several different levels that we actually kind of connect on. So
can you, when you say several different levels, are there names to those levels? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You said several different levels. I'm like, preacher, you going for 3 points. What you mean?
That's one.
Well, I think one of the things is that, yes, my first interview was with her. I say interview, yes.
Yes.
And so that has its own uniqueness to it.
Okay.
The fact that, again, I said the way she communicates, the process of communicating was easy, and it flowed with all of the ladies. There's a level on which Valencia and I communicated just beyond it being easy. That was another overall impression. And then maybe if there's a third, 3 points, you said, if there's a third, Valencia, she made me want to talk.
Okay. All right.
And I don't like talking about me.
Okay.
All right. She made me want to.
And so that overall, I know you gave me levels, Reverend, but that overall, what's that overarching, as you gave what everybody else, did this, overarching, what would you say that is for Valencia?
She the truth.
Okay, she's the truth. I like that.
Yeah, she the truth.
Okay. I like Rhonda had said earlier, but I'll read it now. It's easy to stand in the shallow part. The deep end is where you overcome challenges. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I think it's cute how all of you all are linked via text, and I'm sure you're going to keep these conversations going.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I at least know how to text in clandestine. But anyway, Valencia,
yes.
Darren, what do you think the overarching for Darren? Do you resonate with these several levels that he talked about?
Absolutely.
What stands out?
Absolutely. Let me tell you the trivia. Our mothers are born on the same day. That I think that put us in a place where we were like, so the person born on that same day is who raised you. And so there was just something about that just, connected from the moment he said that. I was like, what? Anyway, so that was cool. But because Dan and I share a theological side, we share an artistic side, we share an educational side. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So that's why he says all those levels. So
clarity.
That was it. I think it made us more open because there were some things that did not have to be explained. They were just, they connected. I'm a brain person. The stronger the brain, better off I am with a person.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I could kind of say that there's no unintelligent man in this group.
Okay.
That helped the whole concept, knowing that they know their stuff, whatever they're doing, they are trying to be at the top of their game, wherever it is. And that's important to me. And Darren is no different in that. But all of the connections were just ludicrous. His pastor grew up in my home church, and just, it was just a lot of stuff.
And how do you think, what is your overall arching opinion of Darren?
I think Darren's great. I think he's a wonderful man.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot to him. And I think he's at a point, not to psychoanalyze it all, but I think he's finally at a point where he's willing to see and accept all of who Darren is, and that's worth somebody having.
Okay. All right. I think that's everybody. And Christina offered up, she'd date everybody in the room. I'm not asking that question of you, would you date everybody in the room? Though I appreciate it, Christine. Thank you for offering that. I wasn't going to raise that question, but thank you. What I am curious to know is...
Tasha said it too, by the way.
Who said it?
She did.
Tasha said she would date all three of them. Okay. Yeah. I'm curious to hear, did you make a connection in a way that you want to know more, explore more with anybody that you connected with over these 2 weeks?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
3 yeses, and I'm waiting for the gentleman to chime in.
Oh, that's a general population question. Oh.
Yes, it's for everybody. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
J. Gerald says yes. Bilal is shaking his head. I don't know if that is yes.
I said
have to. You
have to. Okay, Darren, I want to explore that answer just a moment.
I knew that was one you would reach for.
Well, you put it out there. I couldn't reach it if it wasn't there.
Yeah, I just on. Let me say, just on the general level.
Before you do
to
that,
be able,
I got 1 second because you can't see it, but this hair is standing up on the back of my neck. Because I want the viewers to hear this and listen intently, because even if you don't ascribe any of it to the questions, I think the process has borne out something where you say yes and so for that alone, I want viewers to hear. While I think some of it is cerebral, as Valencia said, I think some of it is heart matter. I think it's important. This process might be something that other people will want to try. Would you say that, Darren?
Yeah, I think people would love to do this.
Yeah.
I think so.
We're gonna give them more opportunity. But tell me why you said I have to, got to. That raised. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Woo. I felt like I was in church and was gonna shout a Baptist shout. You know, I'm Baptist born, Baptist bred. I'll probably be Baptist dead one day. But before then, I was gonna get in a good shout. I was gonna say, woo!
Okay, some shout music, Marcus.
No, in the Baptist church, you don't have to have music to shout. You can shout off a good hymn right after they're done.
And preaching.
Wait a minute. You done got me raised up. After they've done a stanza and quiet.
It is well. You take one, it is well with my soul. That'll take you on in. Right.
Okay, Love and Stuff just went to Love Church Baptist College. Okay, I'm sorry. But I am excited that because so many people, Darren, so many people are looking for love, and I'm looking for broader love than just the one relationship. Yeah. But I understand that people are looking for that person that they're going to walk out the rest of their days with, and I think that's an important consideration. And if there are ways and tools that can be used to do that, that's exciting to me. But back to you.
And I still remember what I was going to say when you first said
it. A shout to help you. Yeah.
It will get you through. Yeah. It get you through. Because the platform and foundation for love begins where this experience actually does, then it's a disservice to it'd be a disservice to myself, even though I didn't enter the experiment looking for love. Let me do say that. Okay. It'd be an experiment. I mean, it'd be a disservice not to make connections with the ladies that are in this group. I mean, you have provided an opportunity by connecting us together to make an enrichment in our lives, to be able to know them beyond this experiment. And so that's why I say
wow, preacher. I'd shout on that too. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I can't wait for the next cohort. It's not a cohort, but I want more folks in Love and Stuff, because again, you are people that I love, and many of you that I admire. That feels good to hear that this space is worth people taking the chance on love, because that's what I think is important. Why wouldn't you pursue it if you have some connection? And wherever that connection is going to lead you to love, marriage, wherever there is on that path, I think if you think that that opportunity is there, that maybe you should pursue it, like Darren said. I think that is, I'm gonna find a way to hashtag that, Darren. You're gonna have to help me find a good hashtag for that, because you know, I don't think it could be said better. This is a great opportunity. Anybody else? I know, again, Tasha and Christina have put it out there. Yeah, we're going, yes. I don't know how you would say it. You would continue down this path of exploring relationships, right? Anybody want to add anything to that? Like Darren said, I got to. Anybody have that same gusto? I'm gonna call it gusto, that you got to.
I don't think that there's any way that you can answer these questions with anyone and it not be a catastrophe and you not continue having conversation, whether it's just because you have places where you resonate with humor, or someone that you feel you can talk to, or feel like you can share something that you're going through with, and that they will tell you honestly. Because everyone I talked to, their friendship thing was about honesty and loyalty and trust. And so if that's there, then there should be something that continues, even if it doesn't, fork to the left. I mean, toward the heart. I mean, some things will stay the course and other things may fork. And I think that what these questions allowed us to be is open to the fork, open to the fork. And of course that takes more conversation, and that takes some one-on-ones, virtually, yes, right now, but ultimately in each other's presence, because what you feel here may not be the same when you are in each other's presence, and you have to take that into consideration.
Very well put.
Well, I got to say this. I done shared too much with all three of y'all. So
and we got a meeting when it's
I gotta keep y'all close to make sure that the secrets don't get out. And whatever that looks like, that's what that's going to look like.
Yes, sir, Doc. Yes, sir.
I won't even
agree.
Because we don't do sister wives.
I agree to a point.
I won't even respond to that, J. Gerald.
But that is interesting, Marcus. I mean, really, with all the guys, we're all thinking like, man, we should have had some disclosure statements, some confidentiality statements or something,
We're not doing that.
No, we
don't got to worry about that.
Oh no, I'm just saying, because that's just, I guess, how we are raised. We're not raised to really share and you really share our emotions and open up. And so these questions made us open up and share things that we don't share on an everyday basis, because, based on no matter wherever you came from, it shows that you're vulnerable or that you're weak in a way. And as a man, I can't show you that I'm weak. I always have to have that caveman persona,
This is the one thing I'm hoping, that we've been through these 36 questions, and if these conversations with whomever continues, that we don't have to go back to square one, because you shut back up. Don't shut back up, please.
Yeah. I was going to ask that question, Valencia, a little differently. Is anybody, now that people have said, yes, I want to continue, is anybody nervous?
No, not at all. I mean, nervous was after set one.
Okay. But I mean, now that you've expressed some intentions, some people, right? Is anybody hearing that and saying, oh, this could really be it. And does that make you nervous? Anybody have
It makes me excited.
I think there's an excitement. There's this like,
it's like, what's next?
Undercurrent, that bubbles in the pot before it boils, just kind of like,
I want to ask,
okay, what's happening here? Like, let's see.
Yeah, I want to hear from Bilal and Tasha. Any nerves? Tasha, no? Bilal?
Probably some, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And what would those nerves be around?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me another question on top of that.
It is kind of an interview style. I do kind of ask questions.
Oh, it's the HR manager, So
I'll take that hat off. Okay.
No, the actual nervousness would be, again, based on past experience, what do I have to lose if I go forward?
What do you have to lose? What do you
have to lose? So does the benefit outweigh the possibility of a loss again?
What do you feel like you could lose?
Wow.
Well, see, now you're getting personal again. So, okay. So for me, the wall is around the heart. It takes a very special person to chisel around that wall. And, and I probably talked with Valencia and Christina a little bit about the wall. So, at my point, I wouldn't be going back to square one. It would be, do I take another brick down?
And I guess I'm just
right now.
What would you lose? I'm trying to figure out what would you lose?
Man, if a relationship doesn't work out, that hurts, brother.
So I hear Darren. I don't hear Darren, but he's mouthing with his mic off himself. He's saying you would lose yourself. Is that what you think you would lose?
No, I wouldn't lose myself, but like I said, it's just the pain, because again, that macho bravado or whatever, okay, I'm speaking just for myself. I don't know if the other brothers have the same issue, but as a man, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be in pain, and at this point in my life right now, I got a bubble that I'm not allowing myself to go through certain things that may help me. And Valencia got her hand up over there. So
I was teasing.
Tasha over there looking at me like, this brother's weird. No,
actually, Valencia was bursting your bubble.
I was bursting.
You were bursting my bubble.
Damn. Yeah.
It's more like you need it.
Yeah. So you would lose
the loss. I would lose. Okay. Oh man, so many people watching. So yes, I will lose a part of myself. I'm going to find that escape route. Yes.
I'm just asking if you don't think it's something that you want to answer. You could say, I have nothing else to say. I can't promise.
I'm trying to find you a good, comfortable answer for me. So no, because it could help somebody out there. So yeah. So again, the whole, I can lose a part of my heart.
Okay.
And I don't want to have it, sew it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, I took the opportunity. Now I got to sew it back up again. And that's based just on my prior experience and things that I've shared with these ladies, all four of them.
Got it. Now there are 4 ladies and 3 guys. Are anybody concerned about maybe there's a connection with one more than the other? Is that a concern for anybody?
No, because, and for me, I would say, love will find a way if it's meant to be. There's no competition when it comes to finding the right mate. If God has ordained it, then be open to it, be vulnerable. Yeah, you might get hurt, but to my brothers and to Bilal, call me. Let's talk through that. Sometimes we need each other to be each other's shoulder to lean on.
Absolutely.
Because those things that you're speaking of is one of the reasons why there's not enough of us on here.
Absolutely.
Agree.
And one of the other reasons is not enough of us are ready.
Right. Right.
Which is the sum use. I just wanted that to be on the record. Okay, that's fair. So would you recommend these questions to people today?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
They're good questions.
They're good questions. Okay. Well, it is 10:37. I am going to be tracking with you, not to see who's connecting necessarily, but just asking as you're going down your journeys individually or collectively. Bilal, you with us? You with us, Bilal?
Yes, I'm with us.
Okay, because I know y'all are texting. I hope you're reaching Jesus in all these texts. I need y'all just.
You know, I ain't texting my mama, man.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because him and his mama, they tight like that.
Yeah, I think I you know, my mom's in heaven, but I think I know a mom text from a room text.
Marcus, I think Tasha was wanting to say something. Tasha, were you wanting to say something?
Thank you, Darren.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Darren.
Good save, Darren. Thank you.
Right. So
thanks, Darren. I'm sorry.
So with these questions, you would recommend them for people to do. And as you continue down these journeys, Love and Stuff still wants to track with you, maybe not to know the intimate details of any journey, but just to see how it's coming along, just to see if you've connected any more deeply with anybody on this journey. Is that something that you would feel comfortable sharing with Love and Stuff at some point in the future?
Yes.
Hey, Gerald, you're fired.
I think that the thing that we have to agree to as this community is that we are all open to that process, because we don't need any, first of all of us are mature enough that there should be no drama that ensues. So if you are getting to know someone and, you know, but also be strong enough to say, hey, this connection is greater than the others for me. And so I'm gonna bow out gracefully because I want to see what this is gonna do. I think we have to keep communicating. I think communication is real important, because this is getting to be a tight-knit community, and we don't need to have anything that makes it difficult along the way.
Yeah.
And I want people to see that it works or not.
Yeah.
Or not. So it is an experiment. It is something that we are willing to do from beginning to end, because we want to see if it works or not as well. But it might help somebody out there that has a lot of things that we have going on, whether it's less vulnerability or less opening up or whatever. So we all have something that these questions will pull out of each of us that you probably would never have done without them. I'm going to say that. The questions are really good to bring out people's characteristics, who they love, how they feel about their family. So it's a lot to learn in the 36 questions, which is good. That you might say, yes, this person over this person, absolutely.
And one thing I want to say to the community is the people that you have in front of you are real. There's no actors, there's no fake, there's nothing. Yeah. We've all been, from what I'm hearing, we've all been open, honest with ourselves first, and honest with each other, and honest with this community. And my prayer and hope is that as we show ourselves vulnerable, that we become more filled and more proven that we can become more vulnerable in our relationships, whether it's internal or external, whether it's family, whatever the relationship is. You know, our primary concern for Love and Stuff is that we show love. And I believe that this right here will help people to feel love to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to even heal from any situation that they're going through themselves because of our openness.
Yeah. I
I agree.
know that one aspect that provides an interesting layer of color to that is that most of the people in this room, there are other people in Love and Stuff community that have some affinity for most of the people in the room. So they're watching on the sidelines. You make connections that maybe they haven't taken the time themselves to make. And so that just does add an interesting layer to it. And I'm just hoping, you know, as we go, you know, forward, as people go forward in relationships, it's much again like we talk sometimes about shooting your shot. And if you decide not to shoot your shot, there's some people that are moving into the championship round. And so you just got to be aware that either you get in the game or you watch it. And so
get in where you fit in.
It's that's an interesting aspect. So while I believe that everybody is 100, there are people who, I won't say aren't 100, but there are people in the community that say, hey, is that Darren single? And you know what I tell them, Darren? Ask Darren. When people ask me, is Valencia single? I say, ask Valencia, but make sure you ask her right, because you and I are going to have problems if you don't. Or if somebody says,
wait. They don't have to ask me right?
Well, they're going to ask you right because you are the gentle giant that all these women said, right? Everybody said, he's a gentle giant. He's intellectual. He's just, well, you said intellectual. He's great, you know, so I don't think I need to come to your rescue in that, you know, but I'm from the D. I got you, brother. I'm from the D. But I, you know, I do have a soft spot as it relates to Valencia, and it's kind of a Detroit soft spot. So that's the stuff that comes with love, and I'm overcoming in holiness, but don't mess it up. Jesus is still working on me. That's what I'm saying. But for each of you, with the exception of Tasha, but for each of you, there are people in the community that have said, you know, that have hit the inbox. And I'm like, oh, you're in the wrong inbox. This is Marcus Holmes. You got to go in somebody else's inbox. So I'm wondering, you know, that's an interesting aspect of that, where people have interest in the community and they're kind of watching. How do you feel hearing that information? Because some of you are hearing it for the first time. I said to myself, no, I'm not going to be an advocate for anybody specifically in the Love and Stuff community, because that makes it difficult for other people. When I start to say, oh, you go with you, and then find out 10 other people, I think people can just build their own connections. And I know that's hard for some people, but you all have done it with people that were reasonably stranger to you. And I think we can have other groups of people if they're willing to do it. I just know there are some folks in the community that's still, you know, holding a torch, as it were, on the sideline. So hearing that, how do you feel hearing that part?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Why just the exception of me?
Well,
yeah.
Well, Tasha, the exception of you is I haven't had somebody inbox me about you.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I've had people inbox me about everybody else in the room and ask their status. And that might be, you know, sometimes you are more in the background than you are. This, I think, is the first time that you've really been in the foreground since the one interview I did for you 2 years ago. So they might not see you as much as they're seeing everybody else. And so, like I said, when I started out Love and Stuff, 2016, I got to go back and look at the date. We really started out talking about political issues. The reason it got to Love and Stuff, Tasha, is that people started to inbox me and not ask about the topics. They were asking about the people and said, oh, is so-and-so is so intelligent. Is he single? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then there were 17 guys at that time and only 7 women who said, we can't find nobody to date. You know what? I was like, you kidding me? I'm talking about faithless electors. You want to talk about love? I said, okay, it's Love and Stuff. And so we started to have these inbox conversations. So people always come to my inbox to ask about other people. And I decided, no, I won't be the moderator of love in that regard. People will have to shoot their shot. Unless I really feel led, these two people belong together and I'm going to do a matchmaking. I try not to do that in the Love and Stuff community because, again, people will feel left out, or that's the person I wanted. So I don't do it that way. I let natural things happen. But what's happened as of late, people are afraid to shoot their shot. And so they're shooting their shot in my inbox, and that is not going to get you no basket. You're shooting in the wrong basket.
I understand now.
So they got to shoot the shot. Now we're in the playoffs. We in game 5. And we just about to name the MVP or something. And now people are like, well, let me step up and see if I can be a starting player. And all I'm saying is, how do you feel about that, having heard me say it?
I think it comes with the territory.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is this, and anytime that we're in the public eye like this, and I think all of us have realized, even when we agreed that we was going to do this, that those type of situations can occur. It is, for me, it just comes with the territory.
Okay. Darren was trying to jump in a couple times. What you saying, Darren?
Yeah, especially when you bring up the origin and history of Love and Stuff, or this community, which became Love and Stuff. I feel like I got into Love and Stuff naively. Because it was political conversation when I got in. And it became, it's something else now. And it's like, oh, this is what we are, who we are.
It did start political conversation.
Yeah.
But the before you started coming, in the beginning.
Yes.
But the people in the community were more interested in the connections that they could form.
I'm not complaining. I'm just, my feeling is, okay, this is what we are, who we are now. We
are not a monolith, right? We are social justice. We are Black excellence. We are love on steroids. We are community minded. We are volunteerism. We are a whole bunch of stuff of how you can up your love game. And I think a real good consideration of that, right, especially having people that are social justice minded, is upping your love game does look like lifting the voices of those that have been disenfranchised. That's a real consideration about love. That's why I'm honored that some of you who find that in the center of your working heart are a part of this. But I also know that there are broken people trying to be repaired from broken relationships, and some of that is broken from family, broken from all kind of things. So it's a great collage of aspects. I think it's a lot of layering. So, but yeah, you're right. When you first start coming around, we were talking a lot of social justice, and we still do, just not So you might have got into some love, sir.
It's becoming. Is that what it is? We're becoming. Is that what it is? It's the becoming.
We are being, and we are discovering that the being is more than what we thought we were becoming.
All right.
If that makes any sense.
Yep. I got it.
Yeah. So it is certainly an evolution, and stay on the ride with us, because it looks like it's going down a good path for some people. And I just wanted to put on the record. Yeah. I just wanted to put it on the record that there are so many people in Love and Stuff that are looking for love, and some of them, at your doorsteps. So
I say shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. Well, that's what I say, Christina. I think one of the challenges, and I know we're at 10:51, and Jay Gerald would normally be inboxing me and saying, it's at 10:50, I understand.
I'm not going to cut you off like you cut me off.
Oh, my.
One of the challenges is that people are afraid. I hate to use that word so loosely, but people have some
Reservations.
Reservation, hesitation, trepidation.
Well, they're missing out. They're missing out. So I say
shot because they are afraid of what Bilal is saying, that some part of me will be lost, or I got to start again at zero, or I'm going to be hurt. And what Darren said one time that I didn't hashtag, and Valencia says often, but love is a risk. You can't get into it without the chance that you might get hurt.
Right. Or you might find love.
You might bleed.
That individual person, they have to determine if the risk is worth the reward.
Yeah. But you can't say I want in the game and you don't want to get out there and get a foul, because a foul might come with the game.
Right.
You might get fouled if you get on the court.
I might just be.
That's why I said.
Most people who get fouled on the court get a chance to get an extra shot. Come on, Whitney.
Yeah.
So you gotta
or two.
Yeah. You gotta help me out. Help me out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Help me out. But it's getting out there. That's the challenge for people. That's why this is so. It is not my brilliance. It is. This went viral and caught my attention. Thank you, Lord, for bringing it to my attention. But that's why this is so important, because you, as I think Jay Gerald said earlier, you're real regular people, though extraordinary people, by no sense of the regular, meaning you are extraordinary individuals. But you're regular people in the sense that there are other people in the world like you. And you stepped out to say, I'm going to be open to try this. And I'm not even sure what it is, but I'm going to try it. And that's the same energy, same chutzpah, same that you'd have to try wherever you are. If you're thinking about the opportunity for love, or even to be open yourself up to be more vulnerable. If that was part of the journey, or not even part of the journey, but you learned it. And so many people have this fear. I was trying to say, Christina, they're afraid to shoot their shot. And I'm just hoping this shows them, wow, I could shoot my shot. The next cohort I want to be in, or maybe they'll just print the questions off themselves and ask somebody over the phone or whatever, because the time is so short. Life is so short. Life is so many people are leaving this life and losing life and so many things.
And can I just interrupt real quick to say,
shoot your shot.
Yeah, but with that, I'm gonna go on the different side. Is that if you don't do that, you're never going to know. And you might think that Christina is this way, but she's not. You might think that Bilal was this way, but he's not. So for you, it would be a service to you to actually take that risk, to wean out who really is for you or not for you. I've been, and I've expressed this before, on several dates or even talked to people on the phone, and sometimes it stopped right there on the phone. So you have to know where you hold your line. You have to know where you say, hey, at this point, I'm not going to go farther because they might break my heart. And you have that feeling, or you don't have that feeling. You feel great. Like, okay, I can go one more step forward. So I think that's within the risk. It's not just if you're going to get your heart broke or not again. It's how do you know? How do you know if she's or he's not that one for you, or they are someone that could be for you? You have to go that far. And like I said, sometimes it's like, okay, even over the phone, this is not going to work out. That person I might have more feelings than that person. And they say, listen, we're going to be friends. Or, you'd be great for my cousin, Gerald. Yep. Okay. So, but you're not going to get that far to know that if you don't go and take the risk and take the bleeding or not. And sometimes you take the bleeding. Is that bleeding worth it? It's like, you know what? That wasn't, I was uncomfortable, but she's still cool. Or you might be uncomfortable talking to somebody and you go, that's enough. So you have to go that far.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other part of that. There is always some growth that comes with the experience of someone in your life that is not you. Because there's always a thought that isn't the way you thought it. There's always a way that they do things that is not the way you would have done it. And there is some growth that comes from that alliance. Even the ones that hurt grow you up. So it's a matter of whether you being stagnant is a place that you want to live in, or whether growth is something that you ascribe to. And if you ascribe to growth, then sometimes growth hurts. There are growing pains. And then there are times when growth is absolutely marvelous. And you still don't get to the promised land. You just say, this was cool, this was great, but we've come to an impasse. This is as far as we were going. But look at what I gained in this experience. Mm-hmm. Look at what I gained. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, if there aren't any other closing thoughts, one of the things that you have gained is a free ticket to Sunday, the Valentine's Day show. So all of you will get free tickets for the 4:00 show. I hope that you come and enjoy. There are going to be Richard Dickey Mason and Shad Moore, who are in and on the periphery of our Love and Stuff community. Of course, Richard Dickey Mason is our brand ambassador. Mm-hmm. They both have shorts, films that they have produced. And so we're going to be showing their films as a part of that. We'll have some music and some prizes for you to enjoy and win. So invite, the folks that are here in the room, other folks that might want to come and enjoy that. 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, which is Valentine's Day. So if you don't have plans for Valentine's Day, join us, just as our thank you to you for your time and consideration, because you really did spend hour-long time with people. You gave up your time to have these conversations. And I did push a little bit to get you guys into the conversations. Just a little bit, Bilal. I just pushed you, I didn't prod you. I did push just to have you in the conversation, but we couldn't have had this show without you. And I am just pleased that it has gone as well as it has gone. And I hope that you will continue your conversations and connections. And I hope that you will be ambassadors of sort for the next group of people who will come behind you, that will engage in this process. I think you have put us on a great trajectory of showing, hey, great people can meet great people and have some great connections. And if nothing else, I think that was something that everybody can take away. So I'm just looking at the comments. Okay. Any closing thoughts before we go?
I enjoyed all y'all. It's been real, and we're going to keep it going. And I got to keep y'all close.
Let love spread like a pandemic.
Yes. Please let it spread like a pandemic. Yes.
This was necessary for many of us. Some of us were in a kind of rut. It kind of took us out of it.
Good stuff.
I enjoyed it.
Lena Brown said, I enjoyed each of you. We'll share next time. Lena, I want you to come on and get involved. Some of you that are in the comments, come on and get involved for the next cohort. We might even synthesize we're going to have to help, because when you're talking, it's hard to not ask additional questions, but we want to stick to the 36. I've been a stickler about that, but I realize in conversation, real conversation, you're going to have another question and maybe another question, probably not a whole section, but we'll have some questions that aren't on the script, right? But I think for the most part, everybody stuck to the script, and I'm most appreciative of, your commitment to really doing that. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Darren Williams, Bilal Muhammad, Christina Smith, Tasha Green, Gerald Harvey IV, and Aria Moody. Thank you all for joining us. And thank you that are watching. I hope you will click share. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. I hope you will click share and tag someone to continue the discussion as we watch these pairs of people, great folks in the community, work out connections. Let's see what happens.